G'day, Bullets on a budget here. Gotta have the obligatory morning coffee. And I want to do a bit of a gear review. And that is for this. Not the Security 9, which is free and clear, by the way. But for this Solofish undermounted weapon light. This is meant to be 700 lumens on this. This is the light laser combo. And I just kind of wanted to dive into it about some of the pros, the cons, and how you can protect you and yours on a budget. I was serious when I said obligatory morning coffee. So again, before I do anything, the Security 9 that this light is mounted on is free and clear, and there is no magazine in the chamber. So let's get into it. This light, I paid about 25 bucks with taxes on Amazon. And is it the best light insofar as quality when you compare it to like an O-light or a Streamlight TLR? No. But let's talk about why this is an amazing find if you're on a budget and want to protect you and yours. So first and foremost, what's the purpose of having a light on your pistol? A couple of things. One, 9 times out of 10, somebody comes into this house, there is to be able to blind them. It's got a nice little shine on that. And there is also that red dot, that laser, that is a deterrent, or does act as a deterrent. Also, 9 times out of 10 when you're going to use this is when there's little to no light, i.e. somebody attempts to break into your home and you want to get the jump on them, so to speak. And you also want to be able to see what you're doing. So if you're clearing your house, that light comes on and you can see. People are like, oh, it gives your position away. Again, you're in a relatively, and sometimes in my case, this is about 1,200 square feet, a relatively small space to clear. So if I'm coming around that corner, I want the son of a bitch to see that there is somebody here. I want them to see that there is somebody who has the means to defend themselves. Now, at some point, we'll get into why I have a Security 9 as my home defense pistol. One of the reasons is this channel is called Bullets on a Budget. And at the moment, handguns are what I have to defend my home insofar as a lethal and effective option. And I've also tested this at the range with the Solofish light on, and it shoots great, no loosening or anything like that. And it's a good solid gun for about $300. But our focus is on the light. So some of the cons that I noticed, so we covered why you kind of want a weapon light. Some of the cons that I've noticed is this windage and directional zeroing. There is a smaller, it's not proprietary, but there's a smaller Allen key that does come with it that you can adjust it. I've got it adjusted to where I like it. I have the laser, for want of a better term, zeroed in and able to train on a target. So when I pop that laser on, and I'll show you guys what that looks like from a first-person perspective. When I pop that laser on, my shots are hitting where that laser goes. So it is also, that's in my opinion at the moment the only real con outside of the fact that the candela or the reach of the light isn't so great. But again, in a dark house, this $25 light on your pistol, so that laser, that light is going to do great. And also, let's talk about that laser and the light. So you have a solid light, light on, light on, light on, laser on, laser on, laser on. So very easy controls right here. You just have to remember, so muscle memory is where training with your weapon comes into play. Muscle memory, top button's going to be that laser, bottom button's going to be that light. And then you also have ambidextrous controls, so you can do it with either your finger or your thumb, depending on your grip. So again, this weapon is clear. So you have that laser, laser, light, light. Now with some other lights, there we go. So with some other lights, and I'm working on the muscle memory myself for this. With other lights, some have a strobe function, some don't. This has a strobe function for both the laser and the light. So you're meant to be able to give it 2 quick clicks, and you have a strobe function. Same thing with the laser. 2 quick clicks, strobe function. So I was getting the muscle memory down for that, and that's going to take a little more training for me, that if a stressful situation comes and I want to disorient, that's also another reason to have a weapon light or a laser, and I want to disorient the target, I'm going to hit them with that light, but I'm also going to hit them, if I can, with that strobe. So weapon comes up, strobe. Weapon comes up, strobe laser. So now let's see what that looks like from a first-person perspective. But first, excuse the house. Yeah, I've got kids. Whoop-de-doo. I'm coming around this corner. There's a bad guy in that room. It's my kid's messy ass room. There's a bad guy in the room, and no, it's not her mess, but there's that laser. There's that light. There's that laser strobe. There's that light strobe. That is going to disorient a motherfucker dead of night. But again, I'm coming around this corner, light on. Or I'm coming, if I don't want to give my position away, but I want them to see something's on them, laser on. And then that muscle memory that we talked about, weapon up, strobe. Weapon up, strobe. So again, I'm aware of the fact that this is not an O-light or a TLR. And do we want that bougie shit? Does the higher quality stuff, the bougie stuff work? Absolutely. I'm not advocating saying don't get one, bugger that. I would love one. But for the time being, until such a time arises where I can afford the nicer light, I still want to be able to not only practice my Second Amendment, so to speak, but have, although I am using a potentially, or I am using a lethal vessel, right? I still want to have a potentially non-lethal means to deter a threat from coming into my house. What you also have to remember is that in some states, like where I live in Maine, Maine is not a stand your ground state. Maine is a right to retreat state. There are certain regulations when it comes to right to retreat, i.e. if it's, a proven or can be proven proven threat to property, self, or livestock. So that is where the right to retreat becomes a little muddled, and there are clearer grounds, rather, for the person to defend themselves with means of lethality. However, I like having something on that if something were to happen, I can see where the fuck I'm going. I can deter that person, because the pure psychological aspect of having that light trained on you and the silhouette holding a weapon being illuminated, or having a laser trained on you, or just seeing that. The pure psychological aspect sometimes gets the job done. And in a time where maybe that's not working, then more lethal options do come into play insofar as a means of defense. So, again, I think it's paramount to have a weapon light. I think that the Solofish light, or this particular light, is a great buy for $25. It also gives you the option, I know the whole try once, cry once bullshit, but sometimes, or not bullshit, but I know the whole try once, cry once motto, but again, if you only have $30 to spend on a light, and you only have a $300 gun, guess what? For $325, perfect little setup. Or even, and I would suggest a weapons light on if you use a rifle or a shotgun in your home for defense, a weapons light is still invaluable. In my opinion, Solofish is a great budget brand for the money, and honestly, it gives you the opportunity to go, you know what, I liked that, I'm ready for something a little better, and start looking into things like the TLR1 or the TLR7, or even some O-lights. So basically what I'm saying is, try what you can, use what you can, stay safe, stay lethal, and remember, train, rock with what you've got, and as I said before, stay safe. Cheers.